Before you click away, pause for just a second. Because if you remember only one thing from this entire video, let it be this. 2026 may not be remembered as the year Tesla launched another product. It may be remembered as the year diesel trucking quietly started losing relevance. Not with headlines, not with protests, but with math. Welcome back to InfoByte Network, where we don't hype the future, we break it down so you can see it clearly. Why the Tesla Semi isn't just another truck. The Tesla Semi isn't competing with other electric trucks. It's competing with an entire economic system that has existed for over a century. Diesel trucking is built on fuel volatility, constant mechanical maintenance, emissions regulations getting tighter every year, driver fatigue and downtime. For decades, companies accepted these costs because there was no alternative. Now there is. And once a real alternative exists, loyalty disappears fast. Fleet operators don't care about tradition. They care about cost per mile and uptime. And that's where the Tesla Semi becomes dangerous. The silent killer, operating cost. Here's the uncomfortable truth for diesel. Fuel is no longer its biggest problem. Unpredictability is. Diesel prices spike with wars, sanctions, weather events, and supply shocks. Electricity, especially for fleets charging off-peak or using solar, is far more stable. Over hundreds of thousands of miles, that stability compounds into massive savings. Add fewer moving parts, no oil changes, no exhaust systems, no DEF fluid, and dramatically reduced brake wear. That's not a marketing claim, that's basic mechanical reality. And once companies run the numbers, decisions become inevitable. Charging isn't the weakness, it's the gatekeeper. Critics love to point at charging as the Tesla Semi's Achilles heel. And yes, infrastructure is the hardest part. But here's what they miss. Charging speed doesn't have to beat diesel refueling minute for minute. It just has to fit real-world logistics. Truck drivers are already legally required to stop and rest. Charging that happens during mandatory breaks doesn't slow operations, it optimizes them. And unlike diesel refueling, charging improves with time. More chargers, faster hardware, smarter software. Diesel already peaked. Why fleet managers matter more than public opinion. This transition will not be decided on social media. It will be decided in spreadsheets. Fleet managers don't ask, "Is this cool?" They ask, "How much does this save per mile? How much downtime does this reduce? How predictable are long-term costs?" Once those answers favor electric, the switch begins quietly and then suddenly. We've seen this pattern before, with smartphones replacing landlines, streaming replacing DVDs, solar replacing coal in new power generation. Change doesn't announce itself loudly, it just stops being an option. Real-world performance is the real test. One of the biggest myths around electric trucks is that they fall apart in harsh conditions, but real-world testing is telling a different story. Mountain routes where diesel efficiency collapses, electric trucks recover energy on the way down. Cold weather where diesel struggles to start, battery systems are preconditioned before charging. Stop-and-go routes that punish combustion engines, electric drivetrains thrive there. This isn't theoretical anymore. These trucks are already hauling real cargo on real routes. The environmental pressure is no longer optional. For years, emissions were treated as a future problem. That future has arrived. Governments are tightening standards. Low emission zones are expanding. Carbon pricing is becoming unavoidable. For fleet owners, diesel trucks are turning into regulatory liabilities. The Tesla Semi doesn't just reduce emissions, it reduces future risk. And in an industry where vehicles stay on the road for decades, that matters more than upfront cost. Now let's be honest, the Tesla Semi is not flawless. There are real challenges ahead. Megacharger rollout must accelerate. Production scaling must avoid quality issues. Pricing transparency still matters. Battery recycling needs to scale responsibly. Ignoring these risks would be irresponsible, but acknowledging risk doesn't cancel progress. Every disruptive technology faces skepticism right up until it works well enough. Why good enough beats perfect. Here's a hard lesson from history. The technology that wins is rarely the perfect one. It's the one that becomes economically unavoidable. Once electric trucks are cheaper to run, easier to maintain, cleaner to operate, and supported by infrastructure, diesel doesn't need to disappear. It just stops being the default. And that's already happening at the edges. What the next phase looks like. If Tesla executes, even at 70% of its ambition, this is what comes next. Depot-based charging powered by solar, autonomous convoy driving reducing labor strain, software-optimized routes saving time and energy, trucks that improve through updates, not repairs. At that point, trucking becomes a software-defined industry, and industries don't go backwards once that happens. So let's land this clearly. The Tesla Semi is not hype. It is not guaranteed success either. It is a pressure test on a system that hasn't been meaningfully challenged in decades. If Tesla succeeds, even partially, the ripple effects will reshape freight economics, energy demand, urban air quality, and global emissions trajectories. This is bigger than a truck. It's about whether old systems can survive when new ones become cheaper, cleaner, and smarter. Now it's your turn. We want to hear from you. Do you think the Tesla Semi will scale fast enough to disrupt diesel trucking, or will infrastructure and cost slow adoption? Drop your honest opinion in the comments. We read every one. If this breakdown helped you see the bigger picture, hit like. Subscribe to InfoByte Network for clear, no-nonsense analysis on the tech shaping our future. Share this video with someone who still thinks electric trucks are just a gimmick. Because whether people are ready or not, the future of freight is already rolling forward. We'll see you in the next one.